Good day, everyone. I am John Matthew Bidadase. I'm here to present about the topic agriculture. So, let's move on. Introduction to agriculture. What is agriculture? Agriculture is the art and science of cultivating the soil, growing crops, and raising livestock. It includes the preparation of plant and animal products for people to use and their distribution to market. So, as we all know, agriculture is very beneficial to human because without agriculture they can produce their own foods and their own products, or we must say agriculture is the main source of the foods of the human. So here, agriculture is cultivating soil. We all know that planting crops of the farmers, of different farmers, they cultivate soil before they plant crops. And then here, growing of crops. So, as we all know, all of our farmers is very good at growing crops and raising livestock like babuyan, manukan. All of the farms is a part of agriculture. It includes preparation of plant and animals product for use for people to use and distribution to markets. As I said earlier, agriculture is the main source of foods or of for a particular human, for us human. So here in agriculture, they intend to prepare or to grow crops and plants and livestock for us human to use or to gain. Next slide, please. Agriculture provides most of the world food and fabrics, cotton, wool, and leather are all agricultural products. Agriculture also provides wood for construction and paper products. So, we all know that agriculture is a very large industry or systems that this agriculture can be very beneficial for us human because all of our wants and needs is coming from agriculture. Here, agriculture provide most of the world's foods. Food is one of our main needs to survive here in the world. Fabrics, cotton, wool, and leather are all agricultural products. So, another thing, one of our need is clothing. Without these fabrics, cotton and wool and leather, we can create our clothes. Then, without these clothes, we are all naked. That's why agriculture is a very useful for us humans. Agriculture also provides wood for construction and paper products. Provides wood for construction. So, provide woods for construction is also one of our needs. The shelter. Some of our uh, some of the people here in the Philippines depends on wood houses. So without agriculture, we can't live or we can survive because all agriculture products are needed of humans. So, next slide. So, before we go on for a larger ecosystems of agriculture, let's take this slide. Agricultural system are ecosystems with managed inputs and outputs of energy and nutrients with controlled species diversity. So, without with the inputs of uh, energy. So, what do we mean with why with inputs of energy? Why are, what are we referring about the energy? Of course, the energy coming from the sun. The energy coming from the sun can outgrow a certain plants or a certain crops and a livestock. So, it can be a beneficial if these plants and crops grow because humans humans can take it or they needed it these crops and plants and livestock to survive in a certain world. Likewise, so another common plants. Energy flows occur along simple roads. A higher proportion of the sun's energy is made available to crop plants and then pass one more directly to humans or indirectly through livestock. So, as I said earlier, uh, sun's energy is a very useful for farmers and agricultural system because sun's energy can grow and help to grow plants and crops for farmers and their livestock. So, you know the photosynthesis cycle, which is plant can create their own or they can produce their own foods. So likewise here, sun's energy is the basis to grow for to grow a certain product of crops and plants. And as this product or as these crops grow, it can take by the livestock. So animals, we can refer for animals. If these animals create a take or consume these plants, they can grow and be useful someday in terms of food consumption of human. So another slide. Fertilizing nutrients and what do we mean by fertilizing? Nutrients and organic matter are therefore added to the system by adding fertilizers or having crop rotation by with fallow years. So, fertilizing is one of the most techniques of the farmers to grow their plants. And fertilizing is a very useful to a certain farmer because they their crops and plants will grow faster and nutritious in terms of uh, growing plants and growing crops. So another topic is all about the genetic modification. So here in genetic modification, we can learn about changing in in a certain DNA to a particular or inserting a certain DNA to a particular plant because they intended to produce another species or another strong species because we all know that our environment is a very harsh environment. So let's move on with another topic. Before I go with these topics, genetic modification for crops and genetic modification for animals, let us define first the genetic modification. What is genetic modification? Genetic engineering, also called genetic modification, is a process that uses laboratory-based technologies to alter the DNA makeup of an organism. This may involve changing in a single base pair, deleting a region of DNA, or adding a new segment of DNA. So, in genetic modification, they intended to get one DNA, then uh, they put it to another DNA to create something more or something else. So, when it comes to genetic modification for crops, is this. Genetic modification is a technology that involves inserting DNA into a genome of an organism to produce a GM plant. The new DNA is transferred into a plant cells. Usually, the cells are they grown in tissue culture where they are developed into plants. They see the seeds produced by these plants will inherit the new DNA. So, GM for crops is they intended to create a new species of plants. They take one particular DNA in a certain plant, then putting it in a certain plant cells to develop into plants or a new plants. So let's talk about GM for animals. Genetic modification of animals involves altering its genetic material by adding or changing or removing certain DNA sequence in a way that does not occur naturally. It aims to modify specific characteristics of an animal or introduce a new trait such as disease resistance or enhanced growth. So they they've done genetic modification for animals to create a certain animals that can fight for a certain disease or they can resist to a certain disease that these animals can be uh, affected by this some disease. So and uh, so yeah uh, they usually done GM for animals to strengthen their immunity and to fight a certain epidemic for animals. So uh, they are using genetic modification because uh, the crossbreed of a certain species as a merely failure and it takes a long process to create a strong and immune species in our environment. So they are using genetic modification because they want to create a strong and immune species to live longer in our society or in our harsh environment. So let's move on with another topic. Food consumption. What is food consumption? Food consumption is one of the main reason why do human live because every day uh, we take foods to gain our energy and of course to live because if we can't take food if we didn't take food every day our immune system our immune system will get weaker and weaker then will die. So here in agriculture uh, there is a certain problem here in agriculture which is a large food consumption because if we don't preserve and conserve in terms of using our resources we are merely to face scarcity of resources if we are not going to preserve and conserve because food uh, food production agricultural production of goods and foods is not that easy because it takes a lot of water and a lot of energy to produce a certain plants and livestock. If we human didn't get to the point that we need to consume, we need to preserve and conserve mainly in our resources, we we will face a scarcity of our resources. So, in conclusion, agriculture is a very uh, broad topic because there are a lot of types of agriculture, but we only focus on the genetic modification because in our modern times we use this genetic modification process to create a strong species. So, in conclusion, um, agriculture is very helpful and beneficial for you for us human because agriculture is the main source of our foods. It is the main source to produce our daily needs. So we need to be more focused on agricultural system. Thank you.